And we should be live. I am very, very late to the stream. I have been quite poorly on the toilet. So if I do run away and escape this live chat, be assured that I will be back, but I might be rushing off to the toilet. But I'm fine as we are now. I hope that you're okay. But most importantly, let's talk about soccer. So, a couple of things that I want to go through before we get into the game tonight. We're obviously live streaming watch along of England versus Brazil international friendly. Should be a good game. Let's quickly go through the starting lineup. We have Pickford in goal. We have a back four of Walker, Stones, Maguire, and Chilwell. We're playing a 4-2-3-1. Rice and Gallagher are playing as the two City midfielders. We then have Foden on the room in the centre and Gordon on the left hand side, and Ollie Watkins playing as the central striker. So obviously, this is not the strongest team that England could possibly field, but it's a pretty decent team. Um, I suggest that Southgate probably wants to take a look at a couple of these players and see what they could offer with regards to going into the international tournament in the summer. I think that probably there are probably two or three players that have been named in the starting 11 today that could reasonably expect to be on the bench in the Euros this summer. So that's the starting lineup for England. Let's take a look at um, let's take a look at some of the players that are going to be highlighted for, and that are going to start for Brazil. Some of the obvious names that we have are Danilo, João Gomez, Rafinha, Rodrigo, Vinicius Junior. These are all top players, obviously, for Brazil. So it should be an interesting game, should be a competitive game. And hopefully, England can put on a good performance and play quite well. Another thing that I want to talk about before the start of this game is I want to talk about Forest having their 4 point deduction as a result of breaching financial fair play. This obviously moves them down into 18th position, falling from 17th. They swap places with Luton Town, who go, I believe, 1 point above Nottingham Forest, escaping the relegation zone, possibly for the first time in the season, although I'm not 100% sure about that. But in my opinion, that is Forest well and truly fucked. I was somewhat impressed with Forest when they brought in um, Santos to replace Steve Cooper. They obviously had a manager bounce and they picked up some pretty good results following that replacement. More recently, they've not played particularly well. They've been quite poor. They have dropped points against teams which you would expect them to pick points up against. I believe in their last game, they were 1-0 up for much of the game against Luton Town and ended up drawing 1-1 with Luton Town equalising very late on in that game. This was an away game for Luton Town, and so I expected that Forest should have won that game. They had several opportunities to win that game, including being 1-0 up until very late on. And they capitulated that result. And Luton Town are now above them in the league. I think that Forest might get relegated. Fairly not certain about it, but I think it's quite probable. I think that a lot of the momentum with regards to the teams in that relegation battle is with Luton Town, and it has been with Luton Town for much of the season. Even when Luton Town lose games, they play and perform quite well in those games. They score in those games. They are a decent team with regards to creating opportunities and taking advantage of those opportunities. They score. They score enough in the league this season. The only issue that Luton Town really have is that defensively they can be quite poor, they can be quite inconsistent, and a lot of those games where they have been competitive against some really good competition this season, they have scored sort of maybe 2 or 3 goals in those games, but conceded maybe 3 or 4 goals as well, which has meant that they've not been able to pick up points. With regards to Forest, though, there are games where they don't create a lot. There are games where they don't score. There are games where they just get hammered. And Luton have been competitive across the entirety of this season. And I just think that with that momentum in mind, that Forest are probably going to get relegated. Probably. I'd say maybe 66% surety with that, with regards to Forest getting relegated or Luton Town. I'd say Luton Town maybe a third, and Forest 2/3 at this point. And I think that it's probably a consequence of them not moving on the manager sooner with regards to Steve Cooper and replacing him with Nuno Espirito Santo. I think that maybe if they'd made that switch a little bit earlier, that maybe Forest would be in a much better position going into having those points deducted. I think that with regards to the points deduction for Manchester City, it does seem to be quite unfair that that financial fair play seem to be more than willing to go after um, lower level teams. Everton, we've seen it with. Forest, we've seen it with. They've now gone after Leicester City, and yet nothing with regards to Manchester City. Very little with regards to Chelsea. We know that that's probably coming quite soon. And I just think that this is not. I don't think that it's fair that Forest and Everton and Leicester seem to be top of the list with regards to punishing them for overspending, for not handling their finances as well as they should. But Manchester City, 115 counts, I think it is, and we've heard nothing with regard to progress of investigation, with regards to progress. With regards to progress um, for investigation, with regards to progress with penalties and punishment, we've heard nothing. And this 115, with this 115 accusations, let's say, that's significant, and it's been going on for quite a while. So I don't understand why it's Forest and Everton and Leicester that are getting punished. Possibly because I think Everton, in the case of Everton, they were quite open with their discrepancies. Maybe that was a big mistake. Maybe Forest have been too open about their financial discrepancies. Maybe the same with Leicester, and maybe that has been the wrong tactic to take, because they're the ones who have been open about it, and they're the ones who have been punished so far. Whereas Manchester City, they haven't been open about it and they haven't been punished yet. So maybe that's a lesson to be learnt to clubs in the future. If you are going to break financial fair play, maybe don't be open about it. Maybe try to sweep it under the carpet like Man City have, and maybe you get away with it for a lot longer than these other clubs have. So the game's about to start. We're just about to do national anthems. Um, we're doing a live watch along of LGBT FC versus Brazil. I nearly said Barcelona then. LGBT FC versus Brazil. I think that this game probably is going to include, in my opinion, over the next 5 years, probably two of the best players in the world, maybe the top two best players in the world, in 5 years' time, in Vinicius Junior and Jude Bellingham. I think that I think there's something lost in football today. I think that maybe it's in me. I don't really think of these players as magical in the way that I used to think of really top players. I think that that's a consequence of two things. I don't think that I'm as into football as I was when I was obviously younger, but I also think that the quality of player is reduced to compared to what it was when I was a kid. I've made mention of this many times in the past that in the late 90s to early 2000s to the mid 2000s, there was a new Ballon d'Or winner every single year. And I think that the reason that Ronaldo and Messi have been so dominant is not because they're such great players, and they are great players, but I think that the quality that has been beneath them for the last 10 to 15 years has been quite a lot significantly lower than the competition of, let's say, Zidane when he was the best player in the world, R9 when he was the best player in the world, and many others, such that it's just not possible to have um, kind of the changing, the alterations to the best player in the world based on form. Um, that hasn't been the case for the last 15 years. Ronaldo, um, he could have a lesser season, Messi would win it. Messi would have a lesser season, Ronaldo would win it. But if the two of those players didn't play to their absolute best, there was never any player that was ever going to win it having had a great season themselves. It was never the case that Neymar could have the best season of his career and win the Ballon d'Or. That was never going to happen. Whereas with Zidane and R9, um, Shevchenko, all of these players of the past in that sort of period between, let's say, 97 and 2007, if R9 didn't have a great season, if 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 R9 had a regular season, if Zidane had a regular season, um, and Shevchenko had a really good season, he would win the Ballon d'Or. So I think that that that's probably one of the reasons why I don't look at Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, although they are great players. I don't look at them with the same allure as I did with I don't know, Steven Gerrard or Ronaldinho or Kaká or whoever else it might be. I just don't see them the same as I probably did back then. Why have we got VAR for an international friendly? You'd think that you'd be able to escape this shit sometimes. It's absolute awful. Walker's captain. How good is Kyle Walker in the grand scheme of Premier League players with regards to the let's say let's broaden it out. Let's not say right backs. Let's say defenders of all time. How good is Kyle Walker compared to all of the great defenders in the Premier League's history? And that's a really tough question. That's a really tough question. With regards to right backs, he's probably top two, definitely top three. Some would argue that he's the best of all time. I think that Gary Neville probably is the best right back of all time in the Premier League. Um, just because of his consistency across many, many years, what he won. I think that as we look back in history as well, that Gary Neville is considered to be a utility player with regards to Manchester United. I think that that's quite harsh. I think that's quite harsh. Um, I think that people only view him like that because he played with some unbelievably talented players. But I think that if he was to play at a team like, I don't know, let's say a mid-table team, he would be the best player in that. He would have been the best player in that squad. So we're doing a minute silence for Terry Venables. This is obviously the first England game after his death. Excuse me. I've done a tribute video on Terry Venables. It was released a couple of days after he died, I think, something like that. If you're interested in learning of the genius of Terry Venables, you can find that in the tribute playlist on my channel. Go and check that out. So Brazil are getting the kickoff. I do like their away kit. The sort of, what would you call that? Turquoise, aqua, something like that. It's like a bluey. It's like a blue color. So it's LGBT FC versus Brazil, and Brazil are kicking off, and we're straight in here. And there's early pressing from England as Brazil tried to keep the ball in the Brazil half. One of the commentators is Rob Green. I assume that's the goalkeeper. Former West Ham goalkeeper, former England goalkeeper. Average. Just bang average. The kind of goalkeeper that you would say is probably outshined by a guy like Ben Foster. That's how kind of average Rob Green was as a goalkeeper. Decent, serviceable goalkeeper at the time. So I want to talk about something that was in the news quite recently with regards to Gareth Southgate. It's been rumoured that Ineos are interested in bringing Gareth Southgate in to replace Eric Ten Hag. And as a England fan, as a neutral with regard to club football, I would quite like Gareth Southgate to go to Manchester United, because that would mean that he would no longer be the England manager, and that would be really great. I think that England will never, and I'm going to say this is a prediction right here, England will never win anything with Gareth Southgate as the manager. Never. They will never win anything with Gareth Southgate. He is that bad. He is that clueless. It's unreal to me. So there's Gallagher for England. England are on attack. And free kick to England. Second minute of play. So who's taking this free kick for England? England. Foden's on the free kick. I keep singing England, but I need to start saying LGBT FC. That's us. So free kick flash wide by Foden. So, anyways, yeah, Southgate to United. England will never win anything under Gareth Southgate, and I think that the reason that we'll never win anything under Gareth Southgate is, well, there are two issues. The first issue is that he has his favourites, and he'll always pick his favourites. But that sort of leans into the second issue, and that second issue is that England seem to get stuck on a formation, and they'll get stuck on a formation long past when it's a good idea to continue playing that formation. Under Sven-Goran Eriksson, and even beyond Sven-Goran Eriksson, it was the 4-4-2 formation, and it was quite clear that we didn't have the players to make 4-4-2 work, that we would have been much better off playing maybe a three in midfield so that we could play Scholes, Lampard, and Gerrard in that midfield together, and playing two wide players and maybe Owen and or Rooney up front. Just playing the one up front with two wingers either side. You could have played Rooney on the wing if you'd wanted to. But that's not what we did at all. What we did was we stuck to 4-4-2 and tried to play Paul Scholes on the left-hand side. And what's happening now with England is that we have the players to fit into a system, but we seem insistent on playing a 4-3-3, uh, um, which means that we're then forced to play players who should not be playing for England at all, and leaving out players who definitely should be playing. So we seem damn insistent on playing 4-4-2, playing Harry Maguire. That requires playing Harry Maguire as a centre back, because we only have one decent centre back, which is John Stones. We don't really have anybody else that's at the level of a John Stones. We have Harry Maguire, which is Southgate's favourite, which is probably who we're going to end up playing in the tournament. There are other players that could play there as well, who are of decent quality, but the defenders that we would play instead of Harry Maguire are not good enough, as good as players that we could play in a different system, who deserve to go to the tournament instead of those other centre backs. So instead of playing two centre backs, we should play a three. We should move Kyle Walker in as the right centre back. You could play Luke Shaw as the left centre back. You could play Trippier as the left centre back. Pick them. There's loads of people who can play either side of a three quite comfortably. They've done it before for clubs. They've done it before for the country. But we're very insistent on playing two centre backs, two official centre backs, and then wide backs, and it's just not going to work. And it's going to mean that either maybe Kobe Mainu, who probably deserves to be in the squad, or Phil Foden, who deserves to be in the squad, somebody's going to get left out, because you have limited numbers that you can play as in a midfield three, and we have an overabundance of players that can play as centre midfielders. We have an overabundance of players who can play on the wing, and yet that's not what we're going to end up doing. We're stuck in the system of playing this insistence of playing four at the back. And most international teams, they don't do that at all. Most international teams, what they actually do is that they understand the players that they have at their disposal, and decide on the system to get the best players in that system. You know, you can only really pick the system when you can only really pick a certain system and a certain style of play if you manage a club in club competition, because you can pick the system, pick the style of play, and then go and buy the players that you have basically every football player in the world to choose from to play that system. Whereas with international, you don't. You have a choice of the players that play um, and were born or are willing to represent your country. And what that means then is that your options are limited. So instead of picking the system and then picking the players to go into the system, you should pick the players and then pick the system to fit the players that you have. And England just, well, LGBTFC seem to want to play 4-3-3. and Southgate doesn't seem to be able to move away from that system of play, which is going to be detrimental to England's success in the World Cup. And and look, this is part of a broader issue that Southgate has, that he has no tactical nous whatsoever. This guy is he's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's a terrible manager. Um, and any kind of sideways glance, decent opportunity made by Brazil there, straight at Pickford, easy collect for him. Rodrigo with the shot. But coming back to what I was saying, if you take any kind of sideways glance at Southgate's managerial career before working for the FA, working for um, the England international teams, he was an awful club club manager. He was terrible. And when you consider that Middlesbrough side, I'm trying to think whether they were runners up or winners of the UEFA Cup, but either way, they went to the UEFA Cup final under McLaren just a couple of years before Southgate took over as manager, and he got them relegated. He got them relegated, and that is literally that's his club managerial career. Relegation, and relegation of a decent team, decent Premier League team. Not a team that you would have ever expected to be relegated that season. They were a good team. They were a team who regularly finished sort of in the either in the UEFA Cup places or challenging for it or around mid-table. Under Steve McLaren, it was very rare that they were sort of in the relegation mix at all. They were a good team and they had some very good players. And that's his that's his legacy as a club manager, and it's no wonder why he took over as the England youth level coach. It's no wonder because the guy couldn't get anything anywhere because he was terrible. And he's the manager. He's the manager of the international team. And look, if you want a guy who's, let's say, with regards to his reputation, with regards to his speaking ability, a guy who's quite clean, I understand why you'd hire him. But I don't really give a shit that he speaks clean. I don't really give a shit that he has the right opinions. I don't really give a shit about that. What I give a shit about as a England fan, or rather a fan of LGBTFC, is winning games and winning tournaments and winning competitions. And I'd much rather have a guy who talks shit on the mic all the time. And here's Vinicius Junior through, and the keeper, and it's been cleared by Kyle Walker. It was a good opportunity, but it didn't come off. But frightened England there in the 11th minute. Terrified him. Vinicius Junior, we all know is capable of that for Real Madrid, and he has just put the frighteners onto the England backline. Anyways, I don't really give a shit whether an England are on the break here, but it's broken down by Danilo on the right hand side there, and there's been a free kick. Bellingham's gone through a player. I can't see who that is. Bruno. He's been given a yellow card in an international friendly like that. That's stupid. Stupid reffing. The hell are you giving a yellow card for in a friendly? It wasn't even that bad a challenge. He was just late. He was late. Not a bad angle. Stood down. No, not for me. It's a word and a warning. It's not a yellow card. No way. Not in a million years. Kyle Walker's down for some reason. Anyways, what I was saying was that I don't really give a shit what the manager thinks. I don't care what his opinions are. I don't care what his political opinions are. I don't give a shit what his personal opinions are. Don't care. Not interested. What I'm interested in is Kyle Walker kicking the ball at Maguire's head. Genius. What a great guy. What I'm interested in with regard to an international manager and international coaches is winning tournaments. That's it. That's it. He can go home and talk about whatever he wants, right? He can go home and talk about whatever he wants. You know, he could go home and behind closed doors, he could be the biggest racist you'll ever fucking hear. Wouldn't care. His job is to win tournaments. I don't really care that they're showing that replay. They're showing that replay again of him booting the ball at Maguire. I don't care that Gareth Southgate is clean cut and says all the right things and blah blah blah. He's a good representative. I don't care about any of that. I care about the fact that this guy has been in charge. One of the most talented England squads that, quite frankly, we've ever had. I don't think it's the most talented, but it's up there. And he's had this squad for a while. And although obviously we have some young players that have been introduced to the squad quite recently, the squad has been very talented for quite a while now. And the addition of these younger players has made it an even better squad. But he's been in charge of this very talented squad for a while and has done nothing. And every time he seems to have come up, particularly in tournament football, whenever he comes up against a team that is, let's say, above average, he struggles and ultimately is knocked out of tournaments. You know, I remember being 1-0 up against that Croatia team, and he just couldn't manage the game at all. Didn't manage the game at all. Croatia, their midfield, they had a very talented midfield with Modric and what's your boy's name from Barcelona? I can't think what his name is. Rakitic is Vinicius Jr. and is bounced off the ball by Walker. Claims for a penalty, but there's nothing in that at all. But I remember Rakitic and Modric just taking control of the midfield in that game, and Gareth Southgate. Nah, there's nothing there. It's body contact, if that. But Gareth Southgate can't. He just couldn't control the game, couldn't manage the game at all, and we ended up losing that game, and we shouldn't have done. You know, got knocked out by France in the World Cup. Brazil with another opportunity here. England, they need to sort themselves out. We're 15 minutes into the game, and it's been mostly Brazil recently. It's been mostly Brazil for most of this game so far. They need to sort themselves out. This is England, though. This is LGBTFC. This is what they like: is a good quick start and then walked all over. And we'll see how long this lasts. Maguire walking out with a ball, that's a stupid idea. And there's been a foul on this left-hand side. England just retaining possession in their own half here as Rice carries it forwards. Here's Chilwell on the left-hand side. Bellingham comes in, picks up the ball. It's still on the ball. He's got an opportunity to get the ball in the box. There's an opportunity. And Watkins smashes it over the bar. It was a decent opportunity, but he had players closing him very, very quickly. Very quickly. I need to stop looking there and start looking there. Oh, I'm making eye contact. Then I'm not. I'm looking at my laptop instead of looking at the camera because I'm a dumbass. It was a decent opportunity, but he just didn't have the time to set himself properly. The Brazil play it out from the back. Here's I don't have numbers written down. Probably should have done it. But then I'd just be like, what is it? I don't know. Ball played long and England reclaim possession, but it's played off to Brazil. England regain again. I think I'd be quite interested. I'd be quite interested to see what the selection is for Euro 2024. And I am wondering whether it's going to be a list of the same old names. So there are players that deserve to go who, God knows whether they're going to go. Are we going to see Calvin Phillips and Henderson instead of, I don't know, maybe Kobe Mainu and I don't know. We've got a debut for Konsa is coming on for Kyle Walker, who seems to be maybe has picked up a knock. It doesn't look serious. I'm sure it's fine, but there's no point in there's no point in taking the risk of continuing to play him on for a friendly. Um, I'm sure it's fine. He's going straight down the tunnel to get checked out. But I mean, if it is something serious, which I don't think it would be a massive knock to Manchester City's title hopes. I mean, he's so important to Manchester City. You know, we always talk about Kevin De Bruyne, um, Bernardo Silva. We talk about the importance of Foden. We talk about many players in that Manchester City team. We even talk about John Stones before we get to Kyle Walker, and like Kyle Walker is so important to that Man City team that I don't think I don't. I mean, who do they replace him with at right back? I don't even know the answer to that question. You know, um, but their winger options are so bad that they've got Nathan Akai playing at left back. So who knows? England just playing it around the Brazil box looking for openings, and they've given it away. And Vinicius Junior fouls Gallagher, and England have a free kick from a crossing position. And it looks like Foden is lining up to take the free kick. Foden, man. He's a special player. I really like Foden. He is a bit of I don't know, he kind of reminds me of lots of different players, but he reminds me of a bit of a Maverick type player like Gascoigne. Decent opportunity there for England after the cross came in from Foden, but it was was it blocked by the keeper or defender? Anyways, Brazil back in possession. Ollie Watkins has ended up with it, laid it off to Gallagher, and it's a free kick just outside of the box for LGBTFC. But Watkins did really well to just retain the ball and lay it off there. But yeah. If England score, I'm not going to cheer, by the way. I've never cheered for England scoring. There was when I was a kid, a long time ago, that was ages ago. But when I was a kid, watching the 2002 World Cup, 2004, 2006, I used to, go mad for it. Go mad when England scored, but too many years of disappointments that when they score, I feel no pride, no nothing anymore. Who do we have lining up here? We have Rice and Chilwell lining up for it, and it's Chilwell with the cross. and Maguire gets his fridge head onto it, and it goes out. Oh, it's a corner. So Maguire challenged for it, and Brazil player must have gotten the last touch on it. Okay, it was Dylan Lowe who got the header on it. Maguire challenged for it. His fridge head is so big, but he just couldn't get his head on it, even though his fridge head is massive. Foden taking the corner here. It's a decent corner. It comes out to Chilwell, and he smashes it over the bar. I think I'm going to need to go to the toilet again very soon. I can feel something happening there. Yep, I can feel that coming very, very soon. I'm not going to be able to hold this until half time, so I will be getting up at some point in the next probably 5 or 10 minutes. And I'll be giving you dead ear. Like, I'm not going to pause the stream. I'm not going to end the stream. I will literally have to get up and go to the toilet. So I apologize for that in advance, but I can feel that's coming quite soon. Yeah. So Brazil are on the ball here. Nice play. England regain possession. Foul there, but Foden plays on. Here's Bellingham. Good ball. And it's now Rice. Here's Chilwell. And here is Chilwell on the overlap. And it's cleared by Brazil, but England retain possession again. Here's Rice again. This is Gallagher. This is Rice again. Konza, the debutant is, I think that's what they say in France, isn't it? Debutant. And here's Bellingham on the right-hand side. He's just drifted out there. So it seems to me like Bellingham's kind of playing a bit more of a free role like he does for Real Madrid. He can pretty much pop up anywhere where he finds the space. Here's Bellingham again. Plays it down the line for Foden. And here's Rice. And here's Foden. And here's Bellingham. 1-2. And Foden on the 1-2 gets fouled. Referee waves play on. And Brazil are countering here. And it's Rafinha on that right-hand side. And he's tackled by Gallagher. A long ball forward by Chilwell. Watkins brings it down. It's Gordon, not Gallagher. Why am I saying Gallagher when it's Gordon? Because I'm a fucking idiot, that's why. Decent opportunity, decent effort there. But it's deflected off of a Brazil defender for an England corner. I'm going to have to go to that. I'm going to have to go to the toilet in very soon. Very soon. It's literally just turned on. See where this corner goes, and maybe I'll go, depending on how I feel. Jesus Christ, I'm in pain. Here's Foden taking the corner for LGBTFC. Ollie Watkins. Oh, Chilwell caught it poorly, smashed it into the ground, drags it wide. Yeah, that's going to be very soon. Very, very, very soon. England get the ball back. John Stones. Challenge goes out to play for an England throw in the, what do you want to call that? Brazil third, probably. Mm. So here's Gordon on that left hand side, and possession retained through Rice. Foden on the ball. Lays it off to Bellingham, who gets chopped down, and that's a free kick. And he's calling for a card. I mean, yeah. I don't disagree. If Bellingham's was a card, then he's fouled 3 times. That's got to be a card. And it's the problem with football today. Football today. There's always a problem with football today, in my opinion. But everything's a card. Everything's a foul. Everything's a card. Everything does my head in. Rice with a cross off the free kick, and it's headed out by Bruno. And England retain possession. Pickford's, I think this might be his first touch for a long time. Ball forward. We're at the half an hour mark, and not a hell of a lot has happened, really. It's not been super exciting play. England have had a couple of opportunities. Brazil, obviously, through Vinicius, had that opportunity to score quite early on. Kyle Walker stopped it on the line. Other than that, there's not been a hell of a lot, to be honest with you. Not a hell of a lot to get excited about. But I don't know. There's no but to that. There's no but. I have nothing after the but. Gordon down the left-hand side for LGBTFC. Watkins squares it across the box, but there is nobody there. Nobody getting in front of those Brazil defenders on that opportunity. But good show from Watkins to create an opportunity there. But unfortunately, he's the one who's supposed to be in that, receiving that that squared pass. Vinicius Jr. carrying the ball on that left-hand side. Breaks away. Can you get the cross in? No, he can't. Vinicius, would he occupy 3 players then? Talented lad. Talented lad. Oh, God. Here's the fridge. What is he doing? What are they doing? There's no England player offering themselves for the pass from the goalkeeper, and they've turned over possession because they had to play it long. A ball over the top, but it's a wasted opportunity. Rodrigo couldn't connect properly. Ball goes out for a goal kick, but decent opportunity created there, and he's offside. He's onside. I was onside. So yeah, he's on. He just poor execution. Make sure you connect with the ball, then worry about where it's going to go. There's me saying that, and I'm not a pro footballer. Me saying that, and I'm not the pro footballer. So maybe I should just shut the fuck up and watch the game. There's no foul there. Foden just falls down just because. That's free kick. John Stones carrying the ball forward, and I thought he'd been booked for diving then for a second, yeah. But yeah, John Stones carrying the ball forward, occupying players, gets brought down. Um, Gordon on that left hand side in the final third. Bellingham on the ball. Mm. I might make it to half time. I might. It's only 10 minutes away, and it seems to have died down a little bit. Opportunity for Brazil here. Is it they've hit the post? They've hit the post, and that's the difference between England and most other international teams. Is that is that we can have all of the possession and all of the chances and never ever look dangerous. And Brazil have had very little, and every single time that they've created something, they have actually looked dangerous. It's There's an Englishness to the way that England plays, and we just don't look dangerous. LGBTFC look tame, always. They could be 6-0 up and they look tame. They always look tame. And there are other teams out there like Brazil, like Spain, Portugal, all of these teams. They could be 5-0 down and they don't look tame. So this is an issue of England. There's never a bite to them. Never. Never. Even with, you know, we think that England could have the 11 best players in the world and they would still look tame. But yeah, Brazil hit the post. Pickford nowhere near it. He's diving to the opposite side of the goal. Long day today. Oh, good looking boy. Anyways, here's Gordon, and that's Gallagher. And Foden plays the ball in the box. There's always somebody in the way. There's always somebody in the way. Because England shoot before they create clear cut opportunities. And this is not unique to this generation of England players. It's the same as of every generation of England players. It's nothing. It's not even a half chance in your shooting. Not even a half chance in your shooting. I think where are we at? Yeah, I'm cold. I don't know why I'm cold. Maybe because I'm ill. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. At half time, I'm going to crank the heat up and see if that makes any difference. Where are we at? 37 minutes played. What's the added time going to be? Maybe 2 minutes. Maybe 2 minutes. Unless there's a goal scored, and then it'll be 10. Anyways, I was talking earlier about Southgate to United. I said that it would be good for England for that to occur. Do I think that that's a good idea for Manchester United? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do you want to get relegated? That's how bad this guy is. You might as well go and hire, I don't know. You might as well go and hire Robbie Savage. That's how bad this guy is. You might as well go and hire Rio Ferdinand. Somebody who has, you might as well go and hire Gary Neville, a guy who just fails on every level of management. That's Southgate, every level. Um, he Gareth Southgate is the guy who could get a team like Man United relegated. That's how bad he is. He's a guy who could get Man City relegated. He's a guy. This is how bad Gareth Southgate is. He could manage Barcelona and somehow get them relegated from the Premier League without them even being in the Premier League. Playing in La Liga, he could get them relegated from the Premier League. That's how bad this guy is. He is fucking awful. Awful. He's awful as an international manager, and the level required at international is so much significantly less than what's required of club football that as a club manager he'd get them relegated. And now he's crying about something. I don't know. I think that Bellingham yellow card was harsh. I mean, it's a friendly. It's a friendly. Were you going to send players off in a friendly, you know? Stop begging it at LGBTFC. LGBTFC. Stop begging it. Chilwell's going to take this free kick just to the halfway line. Stones ends up playing it off to Rice. And we have Gordon on this left-hand side. Curling shot. Keeper easily saves it. Comfortable save. It needs to be more. Come on, it needs to be more. A free kick to Brazil for a foul that wasn't a foul. See what I'm talking about? When I was a kid, early 2000s, even 2010, that's not a foul. It's a foul now. The game's gone. I say that about anything I don't like, but the game's gone. It's dead. Finished. We are 4 minutes from half time. At half time, I'm definitely going to need to go to the toilet. And Brazil create an opportunity. Pickford says it's Rafinha in the end. And it's a long ball. Headed down. Rafinha goes for the header down. Maguire tries to play it back to the goalkeeper, and it's a fucking awful pass. But that is a big let off. That's 3 now. And again, England, with regard to possession, with regard to chances, they've had the lion's share, but they look tame. They always look tame compared to other international teams. Other international teams, they look sharp. They look ready to go. They look wild. And England always looks tame. They always look less than. That's a foul. It's another one by this guy. He's looking to get sent off, and it's on Bellingham again. And Bellingham at this point is laughing. He's just laughing at the hilarity of it. And he can't handle Bellingham at all. They're going to have to do something with this guy. It's Bruno. They're going to have to either stop having him interact with Bellingham, i.e., move him out of position, or they'll sub him at halftime. I don't think the ref will send him off. It's an international friendly. It's probably not going to happen, but they need to do something to prevent that. And again, it's a decent cross into the box, well defended by Brazil. Is it a throw-in or a corner? I can't tell. It's a corner, and Foden. It is Rice who's going to be taking this. And I do not expect a goal here at all. I think that. How you doing, bro? You good? We are watching England versus Brazil, obviously, and Brazil have had the better opportunities. I'm sure you're probably watching it. Brazil have had the better opportunities. England have had more opportunities. England have had most of the possession, and they look very tame, as England always do. Getting ready to watch the France game. Who are France playing? I haven't looked at that at all. Let me know who France are playing. But England have looked very tame, as England always look very tame. To be honest with you, I don't really get my hopes high for England these days. That ended a long time ago. Brazil in possession right now as we head into half time. I am going to need to go to the toilet at half time. I have a poorly tummy and I've been sitting on something for the last half an hour. So when this whistle goes and I abruptly stand up, please forgive me for abandoning the stream. But Brazil are countering here, and here's Vinicius, and they're just content to keep possession on the outside of the box, waiting for an opportunity for things to open up. A little ball through, and Pickford just claims it. Well played to Pickford. France versus Germany. Let's have a look. How would one do that? Let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can figure this out. Do I go here? Let's see if I can do this. I think it's in this part, but I'm not 100% sure. Is it here? Here it is. There we go. There we go. Should be sorted, bro. And we've had an offside for England as we head into half time. 2 minutes of added time are almost up. And as I say, bro, the whistle's gone. I'm literally going to have to go to the toilet. I'll be back in 5. So just bear with me, bro. Whoa. You still there, bro? Good. I'm back. I'm hoping that's going to be the last one, but I don't know as yet. What time is the France and Germany kickoff? Are you doing a? Oh, they're about to kick off. Are you doing a live stream for it? In 1 minute. All right, cool. I will. I'll tune in after this England versus France, England versus Brazil game. So I should catch maybe the last half hour of the second half or something, maybe. But we'll see. We will see. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. What do you think are France's chances in the Euros this summer? And do you think England are their biggest? Fair enough. You think you win it? Do you think England have any chance at all of challenging France for the Euros this summer? I don't. I think England. I never have any confidence that England are not going to bottle are not going to bottle any opportunity that they ever get. Hmm. Southgate will always screw it up, bro. He will always screw it up. He is a terrible, terrible manager, terrible coach. I remember. So I was talking about this earlier, actually, on the stream, but I'll go over it very quickly again. That Gareth Gareth Southgate, as a club manager, he took over Middlesbrough when Steve McLaren left to become England manager, and Steve McLaren had taken them to the UEFA Cup final. I can't remember whether they won it or whether they were just runners up, but he took them to the UEFA Cup final, and a couple of seasons later, they got relegated under Gareth Southgate. That's how bad he is. And they were a good team as well. It wasn't like they were. It wasn't like they were on the way down when Gareth Southgate took over. Nobody ever expected that they would get relegated when they did. They had some really decent players in their team. Um, and yeah, and they were a team who they were like they were competing for qualifying for UEFA Cup. They were mid-table, sometimes lower mid-table, but they were never like relegation zone battlers. They were so bad under Gareth Southgate. They were so bad. It was unreal how bad they were. And then after Jordan scored in the first 30 seconds, what the fuck? Sorry about that, bro. Germany scored in the first 30 seconds. All of that hope died very quickly. What was I saying? And he was so bad as a club manager that after he left Middlesbrough, I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out after this game and see that goal. But Southgate was so bad as a club manager that he couldn't get another job at a club, so he ended up going into international football as a consequence of that. And for whatever reason, the people who hired him to be, whoever hired him to be England manager, they just didn't consider that when it comes to managing at a decent level, he just fails on every single level. And England are about to kick off again, coming out from the tunnel. I do wonder whether Bruno has been subbed off, because there were a couple of complaints about him fouling Bellingham. He's had a yellow card. He's had 3 or 4 fouls since then, so I don't think they'll return. I'm a C. Let me check. Let me check. Let's have a look. Looks like he's still on the pitch, Bruno Gomes. Don't know, mate. Can't answer that for you. Obviously, I'm not watching the game, but I would be very, very Germany playing first team, France playing a B team. Well, that's probably what's going on then. That's probably what's going on. Germany's first team ain't great with regards to comparisons to previous generations of German teams, but I would suggest that Germany's best first team is probably better than France's B team, but not by a hell of a lot. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Because France's B team is probably like Zidane Junior or something. Zidane Junior, like the second best player in the world instead of the first best. So England about to kick off for the second half. LGBTFC kicking off for the second half. Gallagher looks like he's going to be the one kicking off. And It's just nothing again from the kickoff. It's just nothing. Long ball launched. Bellingham had a second ball lost. Brazil pick up possession. It's just tame. It's always tame for England. It never feels like England are dangerous. And it doesn't matter how quality their players are. England have never felt dangerous to me. Third choice keeper. I mean that team that you've just laid out to me, it's probably the best start, probably the second or third best starting 11 that you would see in the world today. So that's just crazy. The squad depth that France have is just crazy. Crazy. Absolutely insane. So I think with England, once you get out of the starting 11 for England, the golfing class is quite a big drop off. To be fair, it's like who's your second striker if you're England? It's Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney, and neither of them, they're good players, but neither of them are anywhere near Harry Kane. But then for you to say Pavard and Lucas Hernandez and Kunde, okay. But for you to say that some of those players that you've mentioned there, that they're second choice, is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And we England are quite considered to have squad depth at striker. So for you to name a lot of those players as second choice is crazy to me. Is striker is the only place that France is short, I would suggest. Giroud, how old is Giroud now? He must be. It's past 30. It must be way past 30. And for him to be first choice, I would suggest that France are probably short at striker. But is Mbappe not open to go through the middle? Um, I know he prefers to play left wing, but is he not open to playing down the middle at all? If he played down the middle, he'd probably be the best striker in the world. Let me know. England have a free kick on the edge of the Brazil box. There's not really anything going on in this game at this moment in time, to be honest with you. I mean, again, England, tame, just tame. They never ever look dangerous, and I wonder what the psychology of that is. It must be a cultural issue because it's been an issue since as long as I can remember. And even then, they've just had a really good opportunity at the back post. That free kick was swung in, clean connection on the back post, and um, I never ever thought that was going to result in a goal at all. They're just tame, tame. It's kind of like when you watch Marcus Rashford play, and it's through on goal, and you just know he's not going to score. That's England all over. They're not going to score. It's just tame, just too tame. No, nothing about it. Mbappe doesn't want it. Mbappe better off left. I agree with you that yeah, he is better off on the left. But sometimes you wonder is it worth making the sacrifice so that the team has a more complete squad, a better quality squad, with Mbappe through the middle and whoever would play on the left to replace him? Would he be a better quality than having Giroud up top? I don't know the answer to that question because I don't watch France often enough. But nice play by England. Comes to nothing. A Brazil in possession, looking to counter attack. And Bellingham wins the ball back. Nothing on for him now. He loses the ball very quickly. Only England could ever be 0-0 with Brazil in a game that has just produced very little. Very little. 50 minutes in, Brazil, they've had the better opportunities, but nothing to scream about, nothing that really needs mentioning. They hit the post. That was it, really. But they've got the ball here in on the edge of England's final third. Just content to keep it at the moment. And England have regained possession in their own half. And I think, is that Gordon or Gallagher's gone down on that left hand side? Ollie Watkins retaining the ball for them. Is this a friendly in Germany and France, or is it? Well, it's not going to be a qualifier, is it? No, both teams are probably qualified at this point. But if that's a friendly, that's an interesting game. To be fair, yeah, it's an interesting friendly. That is. I might, like I say, I might have to look into it after this game. Did you hear the rumours about Southgate potentially going to Manchester United? Did you hear about that? Jesus Christ, that's some crazy, it's crazy talk. That is. Gave away a dangerous free kick. Very, very bad start. And England have just nearly conceded another goal. Vinicius Junior with a decent opportunity there as Brazil looked to counter attack. It was a ball into the box that nobody was on the end of. But Vinicius Junior has been dangerous in this game. He's been dangerous. He's created a few good opportunities. He had an open goal earlier on. Hope that happens. Southgate is the best manager of all time. I think, I wouldn't care. Comical free kick by Germany, very poor. I wouldn't care if Southgate took over at Man U. I'd be very happy because it would mean that England would maybe get a decent manager. But he's the only manager that I could possibly see getting Manchester United relegated. It's plausible, not probable, but plausible. You imagine I don't know, Wayne Rooney taking over England, Wayne Rooney taking over Man U, and you think it would be bad, but it wouldn't be like relegation bad. Gareth Southgate is the only man that I could possibly imagine getting England relegated, Man U relegated. Jesus Christ. He's awful. And Ineos seem to be so interested in this guy. They seem to be interested in the most average managers that you could possibly imagine. Graham Potter's name's been talked about. Gareth Southgate, just anybody who is sort of mediocre, average manager. They just seem to be interested in. They seem to love him, love them. Let's go and get Tony Pulis in. He would do a great job. Good, good. They need to pick up play, grab a goal, turn the tide. Something needs to happen in this England game. Otherwise, I'm going to fall asleep. Otherwise, I'm going to fall asleep. You know, the issue with nothing happening in this game as well is I have a list of topics to talk about. I've already talked about them because the game's so boring. There's nothing to talk about. Brazil creating another opportunity here, and it's gone out for a Brazil corner, but it is crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's there's nothing I can say about it. There's nothing to say about it. It is crazy. 1 minute into the France game, and it offers, and it's giving you everything that the England Brazil game should have occurred, but literally nothing is happening. It's a short corner play by Brazil. It'll probably end up going right back to the goalkeeper. Nothing is going to happen. Oh, here we go. Look, it's back to the halfway line now. They'll probably go back to the keeper now. It's just a nothing game. It's a nothing game. Oh, look, keeper's got the ball now. I mean, international football, admittedly, is a lot slower than club football. But you'd expect stuff to happen, and nothing has happened. There's not been a moment where I've gone, oh, and who was that? Ben Chilwell just ran the ball out of play. Well played. Just great. Well done. Okay, Jordan Henderson's on the bench, so we haven't given up on him yet. Chilwell is terrible. He is terrible. I remember when Chelsea bought him, there was a lot of talk of Ben Chilwell being the next Ashley Cole, and he's not that. And Gomez needs to come out. I can't read that, bro. You're gonna have to retype that. Either I can't read it or you. Oh, he needs to come in at left back, bro. Took me ages to figure that out. Yeah, why not? Why not, bro? You know, Thuram for France. I assume that he's Lillian Thuram's boy. I have not googled that, but I assume that's the case. Confirm, deny in the chat, bro. Let me know. Lillian Thuram, what a player he was. Yeah. What a right back he was. Jesus Christ. I used to buy him on I used to have a game called Alex Ferguson's Player Manager 2001, and I would buy Lillian Thuram to play at right back every single save file I had. He was a great player. Great player. World Cup winner in '98, obviously. Um, okay, I did not know that, mate. I did not know that. Obviously, I'd heard the last name Turan, and I would just think, "Oh, that must be Lillian Turan's boys." But I'd never Googled it to confirm. But what a player he was for France! Such a good defender throughout his career. I mean, he was a great defender in an era where there were just so many great defenders. Vinicius Junior's been brought down, and there's a free kick to Brazil, and that is the only action that I've had to talk about for the last 5 minutes. And England are on the counter here. Comes to nothing. Mbappe, you know. Who do you think Mbappe ends up going to at the end of this season? Because it seems to be a lot of conversation about maybe Liverpool, which is damn shocking to me because I have no idea how Liverpool would be able to afford those wages. I know that if he goes to Real Madrid, he's probably going to end up taking a pay cut anyway. But Madrid, yeah, I think Madrid. But even going to Real Madrid, that pay cut is going to be significantly less a pay cut than it would be if he went to Liverpool. I just don't see how he'd go to Liverpool. Particularly since obviously his dream is to go to Real Madrid. He's a big Ronaldo supporter, isn't he? Big Ronaldo boy. French free kick. Hopefully it'll be a goal, bro. Hopefully it'll be a goal. Stuff is happening in that game. I'm very, very jealous of you. Very jealous that stuff's happening. A decent opportunity by Brazil. They're putting the pressure on England from the goal kick. Rabiot over the bar nearly again. They'll equalise. They'll equalise. The pressure's too high. Germany about to capitulate. Do you think that Mbappe will be a good addition to Real Madrid? Since it's likely that they're going to have to completely change that forward line, completely change the way that Bellingham plays for them in order to fit Mbappe into that system, unless they take out one of those forwards. But I think that those forwards are far too talented to remove unless they move one of them off on. But I think that would be very, very harsh to do that, to move one of them on. This game is dead. It's a dead game, this is. Excuse me. Or do you think maybe they put Mbappe through the middle? Drop Bellingham off? Bro, I'm gonna to this game. Stop reporting on it. You're making me too jealous, bro. You're making me jealous that there's actual good football being played. England turnover possession. Brazil could break quickly off of this. They are 3v4. Vinicius on that left hand side. Ball played into box, but it's headed away. And probably nothing else will happen for another 5 minutes. God, they're awful. Brazil in possession went from first minute Germany goal and Germany domination to France domination and chance after chance. Yep. It'll be 2-1 soon. France will equalise and then grab a really quick one. England, bro, you're lucky. I don't know your history of watching England international football, but I've been watching England international football for my whole life, and since probably around 2002, 2004, it's been crap. It's been so crap. It's so boring that the highlight to this game is that England are making a triple change. So we've got three players coming off, three players coming on. Jude Bellingham is coming off. It's like the best player on the pitch. I watched Euros and last two World Cups. Why? Why? Jared Bowen is coming on. Chilwell is leaving the field. Gomez is on. The player that you mentioned earlier is now on the pitch. Yes. And Harry Maguire, the fridge magnet, is coming off for Dunk, another fridge magnet. So that's the highlight of the game. That's it. Might as well blow the whistle now. And Brazil will probably score now, making it 1-0. And that'll be the end of the game. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. The France, do they play a 4-3-3 traditionally? Because they have the players to pull that off. England, they need to abandon this idea of playing four at the back. They don't have the centre backs to play four at the back. Rabiot is a good player. I do like Rabiot. We play a 4-3-3. Yeah. With the abundance of defenders that France have, I'm not surprised, but the drop off between Stones and another is so far that England do this all the time now. They get stuck on a style of play, a formation, instead of analyzing and evaluating the players that they have and then creating the system to make those players work well together. Go on, France. Grab a goal. So, for example, England, they have one good centre back, and then it's a big drop off from there. But they have an overabundance of centre mids and wingers. So why are they insisting on playing two centre backs when they could play a three at the back? You could drop Walker in. You could drop Luke Shaw in. You could drop Trippier in onto the left centre back role, and then you could get five. You could get four midfielders in, and then three attackers. Gundogan, your French team from grabbing the equaliser. Oh, it's offside. Okay, never mind. Never ever mind. It's like 25 minutes of this game still to go, and we have a Brazil change. Literally, the last thing that I mentioned about this game was England are making a change. Now, the next thing that I'm mentioning is Brazil are making a change. Jesus, we have Pereira coming on. Pereira, formerly of Manchester United, of course. And we have Rodrigo coming off for Endrick. I hope I hear you commentate something interesting. Anything you are commentating is subs. That's all that's happening, bro. That's all that's happening. They just subbed, and the England sub was like 10 minutes ago. There's just nothing to talk about in this game. Nothing is occurring. I've talked about the start. Well, I've talked about starting lineups before the game. I've talked about Forest being fucked for about 3 times. I've talked about Southgate to United 3 times. I've talked about having a real manager. I've talked about the formation 3 times. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing going on in the game. There's a Brazil player called Wendell. That's it. That's all there's to talk about. He's taking a throw-in. He's got broken hand, and I've never heard of a Portuguese a player of Portuguese ancestry. Obviously, is Brazilian, being named Wendell. It's a very British name. England have got the ball in the Brazil box, and it comes to nothing. Come on, Jesus Christ, LGBTFC, hurry up, get a goal, do something. Wendell's got a throw in again. João Gomez, a little bit of dancing in his own half, plays it off to. This is so boring. The England game? Yes, it is. My commentary of the England game, I ran out of things to say about 60 minutes ago. So, yeah, both are probably pretty boring to consume right now. France will grab a goal. It's a matter of time. If they're putting on that much pressure, the finish is soon to come. And what are you on now? Probably coming up on 30 minutes, something like that. Yeah, it must be. Must be coming up on 30 minutes by now. 25 minutes. So plenty of time in this half to grab a goal. It's coming. I can feel it coming. "12 minutes left till half time, yeah. It's coming. It's coming, mate. England are on the attack here. There's a throw in not far outside the Brazil box, but it was Jared Bowen. It was Jared Bowen. Decent little run. Exciting player when he's in a West Ham shirt. But he's wearing an England shirt, so he's going to be tame today. He's going to be tame. Comes to nothing again. Little flick. Is Vinicius, and it's a England throw. Oh, this is how well versed that England are with regards to the players that they have available to them, and how tame they are. I mentioned earlier that when Marcus Rashford is through on goal, you just know that he's not going to score. And now England are bringing on Marcus Rashford. Kobe Mainoo's coming on for Gallagher, and it looks like Gordon is coming off for Marcus Rashford. Rabiot has had an opportunity in the France game, apparently. It's only a matter of time before that game's 1-1. But in this game, because Gareth Southgate wants me to fall asleep, he has brought Marcus Rashford on to go clear through on goal with a one-on-one chance with a goalkeeper and to waste it. Because Marcus Rashford is the tamest of tame players in the tame FC England squad. Kobe Mainoo is a decent player, though. He looks like an exciting prospect for Manchester United. I've enjoyed watching him play. I enjoyed watching. Um, there's been an opportunity for Germany there, apparently. Uh, if you watch in England, don't go and watch the Germany game. Stuff's happening. But Kobe Mainoo, I enjoyed his goal for Manchester United, where he skipped past a few players. Who was that against? Who was that against? Maybe, maybe Everton. I'm not 100% sure. But it was the winning goal of the game. So, but he looks like an exciting prospect. I'd be excited to see what he does. I think that it's quite likely that he goes to the Euros for England, and maybe we could see Mainu and Rice as pivots for England, with Bellingham just ahead of them. Probably, although more likely that we see Henderson and Calvin Phillips as the two pivots for England. With, I don't know, maybe he brings Leighton Baines out of retirement and plays him as the attacking midfielder. Typical England if this ends 0-0 or 1-0 to Brazil. Yep, that is my experience of England. Shite. Brazil are terrible as well, in my opinion. They've got some talented players in their squad. They haven't played well in this game. Will they win the next World Cup? No. But I think that they have more exciting players than England do. Even though those players that England have that are exciting are very exciting players for their club teams, they're not for England. But Vinicius is class. I really like Vinicius, and the other winger for Real Madrid, who plays on that right hand side, who also plays for Brazil. Can't think what his name is. But we have Rafinha coming off the pitch for Brazil. Savio is replacing him, and there's been 8 minutes between the last Brazil sub and this one, and very little has occurred in between. And we have Douglas Luiz, who plays for Aston Villa, coming on for, who was it who went off? Can't remember. Didn't read it. But Brazil, probably last 10 minutes, they look the most likely to score. England's next game, Belgium, France, Chile. So fairly comfortable game for France. England will lose to Belgium. Probably. But yeah, Brazil have looked the more likely to score in this game. They've had 2 or 3 clear-cut opportunities. England haven't had one. So last 10 minutes of the game, I'm thinking probably Brazil nick it if either of them are going to score. And do you know how many times in my life I've watched England play those fucking stupid little 2-3 yard passes around the halfway line for no reason, just no reason. They just creating nothing, just holding the ball, just nothing. Not like there's no penetration, there's no breaking between the lines. Oh, let's play a long ball forward that comes to nothing. This is the same shit that England have been doing since 2002, 2004. Jesus, it's awful. Because it's England, bruv. They don't score, and Brazil have scored. Brazil have scored. Oh, it's 1-0 to Brazil. It's Emmerich who scored. Counter attack up the other end of the pitch. England playing stupid long balls that come to nothing like they always fucking do. Brazil, they play a long ball up the field. Counter attack. Here we go. I think it was Vinicius Jr. who had the shot. It was deflected, and Brazil score. Yeah, here we go. Here's the replay. England unable to control the ball, trying to stupid header down. Through ball, is that Vinicius on the ball? Takes the shot, saved by Pickford, rebound, straight into the path of Endrick, who scores. Just, well, it is Vinicius. There you go, Vinicius, world class player. And that's England all for you. They can control possession all you like. They can have more chances than any other team in the world, and just tame. Like I said, tame team. We do have something to talk about. We talk about how England are shite because they've been shite. And your point before, Endrick, future world class striker for Real Madrid, absolutely 100% agree. Whether Kylian Mbappe going to Real Madrid will affect that potentially, but I'm sure that there'll be many, many teams who are happy to take him on loan for the next couple of years to develop him further. Just this is comedy. This is being an England fan. Well done, lads. Well done. And now they'll go on the front foot, guaranteed they'll go on the front foot for 5 minutes and maybe create a couple of opportunities, but they will never ever score. They never ever score when they're in this position. They'll certainly have some urgency because they'll go, oh no, we're losing there. They're like when you get in this position where like they'll control the game all game and then they'll go down to a team that they consider to be lesser than them, and then they'll chase the game and create maybe a couple of decent opportunities, but nothing will ever come off for them because they're tame. They're just tame. And now they're probably thinking, why did we take Bellingham off? Just seen that goal, that's offside for me. I wasn't looking for offside, so I'll take your word for it, but I mean, it's been given. They got VAR at the place. So, or maybe they just gave it because they wanted something to happen in the game. Probably, probably. Well, the second ball they're saying offside, but I assume you're referring to the Vinicius Junior when he receives the ball. It because off memory it did look tight. They didn't bring it. They didn't bring it. Yeah, it's very tight. That Vinicius ball, the ball to Vinicius is very tight, very tight. But they're saying it's onside, so they probably just give it to him because it's a boring game. And Brazil are on the ball here with the opportunity to maybe counter against England. And Vinicius on that left-hand side. And they just seem to be happy to at the moment, keep England contained. And now England, they look like they've got something to play for, and it's unfortunate that England, they look like they've got some. This is the format of every England game I've ever seen. First half, they look like they've got something to play for. If it doesn't come off in the first half, in the second half, they come out and immediately look happy to take a draw. And then because they play with no urgency, they play very tame. They then concede a goal and then they're forced to create some urgency again and look like they're not happy to take the draw. This is England all over. And this is why, like England, they will win 3-4, 5-0 if they score in the first half. If they don't score in the first half, it's a draw, it's a drab 1-0, or they lose. A Vinicius on the ball on the outside of the box, switches it, but it doesn't come off. But Brazil retain possession. And Brazil are 1-0 up. They're just happy to just pass the ball around for years and years and years France half-time, sadly still 1-0 Germany, but we've been better team since 15 minutes. Yeah, if they come out of the starting blocks quickly in the second half, um, and continue that pressure, I do not see them being 1-0 down for very long. And Brazil in this England game, they're just keeping the ball. And like England, they're not even pressing. They're not even pressing for the ball. They're kind of following the man on the ball, but they're not putting him under any pressure whatsoever. Kobe Mainu on the ball in the middle of the pitch. Rice. Ball out to left hand side. Could have made a run down the left hand side. Did not. Cut back. Played a shit ball across. And here's Bowen. You don't get commentary like this on Sky Sports. I'll say that. Foden. Oh, Rashford. What are you doing in there, bro? Find an identity of a player who's good. Brazil clear the ball and England pick up possession again just inside the Brazil half, but there's just no urgency there. It's we'll just. And can you imagine if this was a World Cup? Like, oh, you're 6 minutes away from being knocked out of the World Cup, and they're just dilly dallying. Like, it's nothing to us. I know it's a friendly and stuff, but it's against a good team. Maybe, just maybe, it's a good idea to put a statement out there to all the other really good international teams and say, "Oh, we're the ones to come and beat." But when England are not going to do that, they're going to lose 1-0 to Brazil and just be like, "Oh, isn't it good? Isn't it good? We played Brazil and we only lost by 1 goal. We played well and we played some of the players that wouldn't normally make it into the starting 11, so we got a good look at them playing shite." And Brazil, they've obviously taken the correct attitude to this. Is we're going to treat this like it's a competitive game. Vinicius Junior is not taking his foot off the gas pedal at any point. He's had opportunities and he's tried to make the best of them. And England have not done that at all. They've not really created anything. I can't really think of any decent opportunities that have been created. Ollie Watkins had one. Ball was played into him inside the 6-yard box. He was put under pressure very quickly, and he skied it over the bar. I think that's the only real opportunity that England have had that I can think of. And Vinicius is coming off now in the 88th minute. So Vinicius Junior has taken this game very, very seriously. He scored. He didn't score the goal, but he created the goal. I don't know whether it will count as an assist, but he created that goal. He's been a threat down the left hand side all game. He hit the post earlier on in the game. He had a goal cleared off the line in the first half, and now in the 88th minute has been substituted. See, that's taking the game seriously. I'm going to play my best player, and I'm going to have him play to the best of his abilities, and I'm going to treat this like it's a competitive game. And England just, nah, you're all right. Watkins on the ball. I've seen very little of Watkins, and we're not going to see very much more of Watkins because Brazil have regained possession, and now they're on the counter attack, and it's one player occupying 3 players and tries to play a ball through that nearly comes off. And now England are counter attacking, and it's Rashford, so it comes to nothing. Brazil regain possession. We got 4 minutes of added time. And Brazil are just, they're still looking to create something. Still looking to create something. Can we go and get Jose Mourinho? Please, can we just go and get Jose Mourinho? I know that people think that he plays boring, shite football, and I disagree with that, but at least we'll win. Like that would be nice. Even if he parks the bus and plays counter-attacking football, don't care. We'll win. Because international football, the, the level of international football is far less than club football, and the requirements for quality of manager is far less than club football. If we get Jose Mourinho as the manager, he's a top class manager. So we've got a manager that's just far above most, if not all, international managers. Can we not just go and get Mourinho, even if it's just for the one tournament? Like, oh, we'll pay you like, I don't know, 3 million for this one tournament, and then that'll be it. We'll get Tony Pulis or somebody after that, but just win us this one tournament. We'll pay you 5 million quid. Can we not just do that? LGBTFC are going to lose this game if they don't do something in the next 2 minutes. What is that? What is that? Stop. Just stop and do something. Just the ball is just wandering across the pitch at this point, rolling its way across the pitch, and nobody seems interested. A ball out to Rashford by Stones. Rashford just plays it back, just pass it back. Could have gone and ran at the player and created something. No, just pass it back. Just pass it back. Ball into the box. Rashford with a clear opportunity there. Just heads it at the defender. Just heads it at the defender. I think Danilo got a touch on that, actually. Oh, he did. Oh, he did. Yeah, he did get a touch on it. Rashford, I'll forgive him for that. Why the LGBTSC name? Have you seen what they've done to the St. George flag on the shirt? You might not have heard about that, but basically, you know, the St. George flag is a very distinctive flag, isn't it? It's white, a white backdrop with the red cross. And what they have done is that on the back of the shirt, on the hemline of the neck, the blue part, they've replaced the St. George's flag with a rainbow flag. So I've rebranded England International Football as LGBTFC. I mean, it's a country's flag. I'm not going to get into politics, but I do not want to see politics in football. I'm interested in politics. I enjoy politics, but I don't watch football for politics. I watch football for football. I watch football for entertainment. I do not watch football to be dragged into any kind of culture war or political war. I'm not interested in that with regards to football. And I think I think it's disgusting, number one, to reduce a nation's flag to a political statement or a political motivation. I think it's disgusting. I think that my country's heritage is a bit better than that. And I don't think that it should have been sanctioned by the English FA or anybody that has anything to do with that kit. And so, yes. And Brazil were nearly 2-0 up there. They had a counter attack on the last kick of the game. They did not score, but England have lost as the final whistle goes to Brazil, which is not particularly surprising. LGBTFC have been knocked out of the international friendlies tournament that I've just um, that I have just invented in my head because that's how Brazil played this. They played this like, um, yeah, they played this like it was an important game, and England just didn't. They didn't play it. They didn't play it at all. They played it like it was nothing to them, and so what we got was nothing. And to show the importance of this game to the Brazil international team, Endrick is on the floor, emotional about the goal that he scored because it's important to him. I have zero interest in politics. I'm very, as I said, I'm interested in politics, but I don't want to see that shit when I'm watching football. I don't want to see it. I want to watch football to watch football. I don't want to see political statements on the shirt, on the pitch, on before the game, after the game, in the press. If players want to make statements about politics, it's none of your business. Shut up. Get on with the game. Do your job. That's it. And it was the world's most boring game for this weekend. Actually, is the what channel is the France and Germany game? If it's on terrestrial TV, I'm going to switch over to that. But if it's on Sky Sports, I'm not going to be able to watch it. Let me know. Let me know. The win for Brazil. What does it mean for Brazil? It means that okay, it's not on UK TV. I will have to briefly sum up what this means for Brazil then. I do not have French TV. I don't know how to access French TV, so I'm just not going to bother. I'll watch the highlights after when it's on YouTube, unless it's on YouTube as well. What does this mean for Brazil? Well, they tested themselves against the one of the best teams with regards to starting 11 and talent depth in the world. They played like it was a important game to them. They played with urgency. They didn't have a hell of a lot of possession during the game. England had the lion's share of possession during the game. England created probably the majority of the opportunities in the game, but Brazil created good opportunities where England didn't. They took advantage of one of those good opportunities, hit England on the counter attack. Scrappy goal, not a great goal, but won them the game. Vinicius Junior played like it was a competitive game. I would say that he was probably the man of the match. There was no urgency from England whatsoever. They were very, very tame. It was quite a boring game from England. It was pretty much every England game that I've ever seen across the course of my life, except for when they play against San Marino and teams that they should absolutely batter. And again, coming up against any kind of competitive side, any side that has any decent talent, they're not good enough. They're never good enough. You could put them against. I mean, the Croatia, for example, in the Euro finals, not good enough. Just not good enough against a team which, with regard to the squad depth, poor. Modric, Rakitic, a couple of others in there, couldn't overcome them despite having a 1-0 lead going into the second half. Couldn't overcome it. Same with this game. As soon as they play against a team with decent players in there, with maybe a manager that has some tactical idea, England, not good enough. And as we head into the Euros, it does not give me much inspiration, doesn't give me much encouragement with regard to England potentially winning it. France, I think that they have a better team than England, and they produce when the time requires them to. It seems that in the Germany game, they're 1-0 down, but they've been creating some decent opportunities. it's more than likely that they will create an opportunity which leads to them equalising. I think England, they're just not good enough. Even now, being this, let's say, considered the second best team with regard to talent depth in the world, it's not good enough. In order for me to feel confident that England will win something, they would have to have the best squad in the world by a million miles. It would have to be like Man City being England, and then the second best team in the world being, I don't know, Bristol Rovers. Then I would go, oh, we might win some, you know. But then again, we'd probably draw Bristol Rovers in the tournament, and they'd play park the bus, hit us on the counter attack, and beat us 1-0. That's how bad England are these days. I'm going to wrap it up. Not impressed by England whatsoever. Not impressed by Gareth Southgate. I think that the first start to England potentially winning something in the future is Gareth Southgate being replaced, and not forcing the England team to fit into a 4-3-3 formation, creating a formation that allows England to pick the best players that they've got instead of picking out Harry Maguire and being forced to play four at the back for whatever reason. Don't know why. Because then that leads to you having to pick a player like Harry Maguire who doesn't deserve to be there, and leaving out players who definitely do deserve to be there, like Kobe Mainu, who could potentially start for England if the formation was right. Maybe they'd have to leave out Foden, Saka. You know, one of these players are going to have to get left out because of the insistence of playing four at the back and leaving yourself short in midfield. But I'm going to wrap up now, unless there's anything in the comment section, any comments. Stick it in there in the next 60 seconds. I'll give you that to say anything, give your thoughts on the game, on anything that I've said, on LGBTFC in general. Let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I'll be signing off in the next 30 seconds. Go viewers now and hopefully see a French win. I hope so. I hope that France will win. If they keep putting on the pressure, it's only a matter of time before they get the equaliser. But I will see you on your next. Maybe I'll do more streams like this. It's quite difficult because I don't have Sky Sports. I don't have BT Sports at the moment. So I can only really do live streams when it's on terrestrial TV. But I mean, we've got the Euros coming up, so maybe I'll do streams during the Euros. But we'll see. We'll see, mate. But I will see you probably on your next live stream. But other than that, have a good evening, bro, and a good weekend as well. And I will see you in the next one.